foundation. He gave me principles. Okay, gave me character. He gave me built my character.
Absolutely.
First I had to
All the things that your
first I had to get a
traditional
blanket party
father,
first, right?
yeah, all the things that a father would ordinarily do,
Right,
you got from the military. So that's why it's so relevant in your conversations all the time.
right,
And once that clicked for me, it was like, okay, I get it now. Now I see why he always refers to the military. Before it was like, good Lord, this dude always, man, he can't never stop. But I in a lot of cases, would refer to my father the same way.
right.
Therefore, without having a father or one that made sense growing up, then you would refer to the military that way. So, and that's the thing. Until you get to know a person, there's certain little things like that you don't understand if all you're doing is
Right.
staying surface level. So
Surface level. Just like everybody on here, and what when so Joe, you figured that out. But guess what else? I take it to the next level. I also sit back and I listen and pay attention to other people and see what's their base. What they so just like you figure, I do that with everyone I communicate with. Okay, I try to get an understanding what's their base, where they coming from. Okay, when you take the time to do that, you find a lot of why people operate and move the way they move. Okay, I mean, you when you understand what their base is. See, you figure out my base was the military, and when you understood that, you understood why I navigated it. But I want you to know I take that even to another level. I use that in everyone I communicate with now. I always, matter of fact, you know what I say? Let's qualify this conversation. You can qualify who I'm talking to. And Thursday I want to know. So tell me about you. Remember, I used to do the shows like that. I mean, you remember the show we used to do? Remember, we used to get a guest. What I used to always do before we got started, Joe? I want to know,
we'd ask them about themselves.
yeah, themselves, right?
We would focus on learning about them. Absolutely.
Learning about them first, right? Remember
Hmm.
how we used to do the show? I mean, it was an intentional posture
Yeah.
of what we did. Before they, even if they came to if you go back, Joe, every one of our interviews that we did, and we did a lot of interviews. A lot of people really didn't understand it, but that was part of my. But I started that from the Focus Show. Focus, follow one course until successful. You know what I'm trying to find? Always follow and find out who you're working with, who you talking to. you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You say focus, and it immediately takes me back to this past Thursday's show.
Yeah, that was a good
What,
show, man.
what was the old cliche? Seek to understand instead of just being heard.
And let the
Absolutely.
noise. We say
Oh my God! What was that gentleman's name?
John Ya.
John. Yeah,
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 brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Brother
God!
Ya.
I've been thinking about that noise all weekend. I'm sorry.
Was
Yeah.
that not a good? If you've not gone back and listened to it, and hey, brother, I want to thank you, Joe, for cutting that little piece out from when John Ya came on and dropped. If you have not gone and listened to that, Joe, you should drop it in the thing here and just give it to anybody who ain't said. If you have not gone and listened to that, just that little nugget of little information on everything made my whole day, brother. I was cool. I mean,
Oh man, I've listened to it. Just that portion, and I'm
yeah,
gonna post it on the page right now. But just that portion
yes,
that we edited was absolutely phenomenal,
spot on.
and it was needed in the moment,
Yes, yes,
and it was absolutely just amazing, man. And I mean, it's crazy because there was no planning with that. I mean, I
right.
I was so excited. Even when you listen to it and trying to introduce him, I was stuttering and everything, and I was just so excited that my brother was there and that it was going come up and talk. I had invited him before, and like he said, this was his first time on X. He downloaded the app and all of that and got it together.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I did not know that he was coming up, and with him showing up, man, I was just so excited. I could barely get it out. And then finally you was like, man, just bring John Yah on up. I was like, you know what? That's exactly what we should be doing right now. Let's just go and bring him up. Let bro talk.
And today, Dr. Detroit did something on his. They did something, They did something. Carl, wait a minute, Carl. Before that, how was your day, Carl? We didn't get to ask you. Tell me about your day today, man. How was your day, bro? What was right for you? What is right for you, or what was right for us? Tell me a little bit about what was right for you today.
Oh, got a few things done. I did a little yard work today because I didn't want to do it on Labor Day yesterday, so I had to do a little yard work today, and got a few other projects taken care of today. So the day went very well. I was trying to get in a couple of your spaces, but I kept getting booted out for some reason. I couldn't make the connection. It kept kicking me out of the space.
You mean cover space where I was at?
Yeah, the space that you guys was talking about,
E- The
Chicago.
no,
Was y'all talking
no, where we were talking about, you talking about today?
mass shooting? When y'all
Yeah,
talking about
mass
mass
shootings.
shootings?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mass
yeah, yeah,
shootings. Yeah.
yeah. I kept getting kicked out of that space.
It was a great, but let me tell you, I'm glad that you went there. And anybody else, put your hands up if you wanna, if you wanna add to this conversation. What is right for us? What is right for you? Okay, when we say us, we speaking of you. What is right for us? What is right for you? What is right for us? When I think about what is right for us, I'm talking about humanity. Okay, I'm talking about humanity. Then whatever you want to identify as. I identify as a freeman. Okay, I used to identify as Negro, Black, African American, and all that other stuff. I no longer do all that. I identify. I've always wanted to get rid of. Ever since I realized the color construct was a mess, and I didn't like that. Now, when I think about what is right for us, when I think about what humanity, then I think about my hand of humanity that is now a freeman. That's what I come out and say. I'm a freeman. Okay. I mean, I don't put that. I put that before what? Color. Okay. It's important because if you would have heard that, if you would have sat there and listened to the conversation today, I'm going to tell y'all fellas, it was embarrassing listening to my demographics of people, just men, and when some women came up too, justifying that uh, the shootings that occur in our community, okay, and the system that seems to be navigating that when they say mass shootings and everything. Have you noticed? And it was very, very interesting. I hadn't even thought about it, but Dr. Detroit did a very good job. Did you realize that when mass shootings, that normally when they talk about mass shootings, it always has to do with someone of a white male or someone shooting in a some white in schools or someone that's considered when, but you never hear mass shootings when it happened when our community. You don't hear when in the hood.
When we do drive-bys.
Yeah, when we do drive-bys and everything, they don't associate that is mass shootings. Okay, they just identify,
Maybe it's
and they don't even. So what he was saying is that, are we being desensitized that we don't see ourselves as humans? The media doing it. Only time they consider it, and I would like this is kind of interesting. Hadn't even thought about it like that. Culturally, we have desensitized that we don't even consider Well, when you hear our people talk about shooting, oh, they just think about, oh well, we just shot one another again. Oh well, it's yeah, we the black
Well,
people.
we always have slang for,
Yeah,
they shot up the place
they
or
shot up
something,
the place.
they
Yeah, yeah.
shot up the spot,
We don't even consider that it was a mass shooting. Okay, we don't. No. Another child been shot, killed, and everything. Oh, they got up another shot. That was another mass shooting. But what he was saying, and I didn't think about it. Why is it that when shootings and things happen around us specifically, there is nothing in the media talking about a mass shooting? It's only when a mass shooting is only when, if you notice, Carl, you know, want somebody to help me out with it. Have you noticed that? And that was a very interesting. But I was upset that I heard my people, men, grown people, say, "Oh no, that's race. That what 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 we doing is not mass shooting. Because that brother. I can't even, bro. I wish I can't believe I can. The embarrassing of hearing them specifically say that the shootings that takes place around our community thing is not mad. That's something else.
Well, I
You
mean,
know.
that's indoctrination, though.
Yeah.
That's the evidence right there. Is people
I
are
said
simply
shootings and
buying
killing.
into what
Yeah.
it's being described as in the mainstream.
Right. And who's controlling the mainstream? And what is the motive for one demographic of people when they have mass shootings, and then it's a outcry all over the main channels and everything? You see what's going on, all these
Wouldn't it be funding?
mm,
Wouldn't that be
or
keywords for funding, attention, and
race war, division, separation? I mean, brother, it's so many things when you think about.
I'm just saying, when you say mass shooting,
Yeah,
well, now you have an outcry from the public that's very different than a drive-by or 5 people shot at a club. It's very different
right.
because we've been trained to think and look at mass shootings. When you say mass shooting,
But
well, now you got nonprofits involved in helping with the recovery and federal funding coming down to help with the recovery and the
but we
aftermath.
don't get all that. But mass shooting is not associated with our demographic. I mean, a mass shooting is one or two or three or more people who've been. That's what the definition came from. One or two or three or more people been shot or killed, or something has happened. Mass shooting. But when you read the definition of it based on they went on FBI, FTA, different organizations, they get involved with different things based on how you what classify.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Those words.
Oh man.
That immediately makes me think about um, inheritance versus
Yes.
reparations. That
Right.
terminology and how a simple twist of
Change the
terminology
terminology
can make a specific
and
difference
alter the whole
when you
thing.
start talking law and
Right.
funding and everything else. When you start talking legal terms versus quote unquote slang, then it changes the outcome.
So check
Listening
this.
to
So check this out. Who would benefit the most on redefining what the incident was? If Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, don't want the feds in his town, who would redefine what type of activity is going on in that city?
he doesn't want he does not, let's just qualify what you said. He doesn't want federal national guards and everything to come in there and bring some order and stop the shooting that's going on. So who's going to continue getting the funding and everything going on if that doesn't happen, and keep the division separated? That those shootings You talking about you talking about those non-profit organizations and those government funds that am I right, Carl? You talking about right?
Yes, sir.
And how you talking about? So it's an intentional thing. Hold up. Let's not try. We ain't really trying to fix the problem now. Hold up now. Whoa. Wait a minute. Whoa. You're doing too much. Okay. You're messing. That's something that we found out through the Man Up organization here. People didn't really want our 5 Man Up principles, Joe. We were doing too much, man. Wait a minute. Y'all trying to make men be responsible. Man up as an individual. Hold on. We don't want them to do that. Man up as a provider. Nah, we want them to let them stay in the corner. Continue doing what they're doing. Not trying. No, man up as a husband. Nah, we don't need them to be married. Forget all that. No. Man up as a father. Nah, make sure they're not in the household. Make sure they're not doing that. So we can constantly continue what? Pointing fingers and cutting the prop. A man up as a father. I mean, man up as fatherhood. No, we don't want those 4 things. No, we don't want that. We want them to continue, no. What were we saying? When men can do those 4 man up things, man up in the community, it's easy for them to be a good example in the community if they're manning up in those first 4 things. Oh, but we don't want that. No. They stopped showing us in the media. What happened to it? I actually went to the. Why you're not putting us in the paper anymore? Found out. Guess who? Hey, Joe. Guess who? Guess who took over? And I commit some LBGT liberal male who now was covering our section in the West End. He no longer reported on it because he said, y'all, they were calling us conservative. That's why everybody was mad at me because they thought because I was at the head. So what I did, I stepped down together. Found out the liberals did not report on what we were doing anymore. Oh, the 4 media channels, they stopped coming out when we the Man Up group is going to be here at our function and this and that or this. Before the first 2-3 years, man, we were being reported all over the news, man. I mean, one time an incident happened where women got shot at the bus station, and I, how I am. The media showed up, and I called it a punk move. I said, "Oh, punk move." For a little shorty to shoot a defenseless woman at the bus stand. Well, that gave Man Up. Man, that went haywire through it. Local group called that a punk move. Young man shooting that. So that's where we got where we started getting people coming to us and everything. Guess what? 4 years later, man, left media, just what you said, Carl, shut all that down. Wouldn't report us, wouldn't say anything to us because we were doing too much. We're doing too much.
Yeah, the FBI definition of a mass shooting is 4 or more murders occurring during the same incident with no distinctive time period between the murders. So
peep this because I just this is amazing. I'm not gonna read all of this, but I threw some stuff in Chat GPT just to see what Chat would say. And even after I threw the initial in there, I went after how does it play out with funding from organizations. And listen to this: national funding versus local funding, mass shooting framing, school shootings, theaters, churches, malls attracts federal grants, nonprofit attention, and big national campaigns, mental health initiatives, anti-extremist programs, March for Our Lives, etc. Community violence framing Black and Latino neighborhoods tends to get framed as a local crime issue. So the funding often comes in the form of policing dollars instead of community investment. Who benefits? White, suburban, and rural communities are more likely to get prevention-focused funds, mental health services, security upgrades, federal gun violence prevention grants. Black and Latino communities are more likely to see law enforcement funding increases rather than investments in root causes, after school programs, job housing, trauma care, community-led violence interruption. Policy influence, mass shooting, framing drives Congress and national foundations to create quote unquote special funding buckets, school security, anti-domestic terrorism, FBI task force, mental health hotlines. Community violence framing often just reinforces the tough on crime cycle. More police, harsher sentencing, surveillance, but very little for community healing or prevention. The numbers don't match narratives. Studies show most gun violence victims in the U.S. are Black men under 30, and the majority of mass shootings, by definition, actually occur in urban, often Black communities. Again, that's that 4 or more. Yet billions in national gun violence prevention funds disproportionately flows to schools, suburban districts, and mental health programs serving largely white populations. Meanwhile, proven community violence programs like Cure Violence, Advance Peace, or Violence Interrupters often fight for scraps and short-term pilot grants. And the last thing here, the cycle: language, perception, funding. Mass shooting equals a national crisis we must all solve. Gang violence equals a local crime problem that requires more police. This means white victims are often seen as innocent victims of tragedy, while Black victims are too often framed as products of their environment, which directly impacts whether they get compassion-based funding or control-based funding. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Send a copy of that to me. Put it in that put that in our group there. Did y'all just hear that? I mean, when I heard Dr. Detroit bring that up, he did. Now, he didn't read nothing like that. Was very good. So it matters. I'm going to use the language. It matters based on the language you use. Okay. Now, when you hear mass casualties, okay, that is all about dollars. Who's going to come to your aid and help? And it's usually about, oh, we're protecting the white community, white suburban. But they don't identify the same concern when it comes to shooting in our community. You don't hear mass casualty. No, we are shooting black young kids shooting one another. It's just out of control. Don't get the same. Oh man. Language.
But check this out, Sean. Who's supposed to be the most protected class? The freedmen.
Yes. We supposed to be the most protected class, the freedmen, because of the harms and things that were done from us based on our humanity and color of our skin. We supposed to be the most protected class, but are we?
When you say we're supposed to be the most protected, how does explain that to people so that they understand that?
Yeah. But let me let Carl do it because he just brought it. Carl, explain what you mean by that, because it's we don't mean like handouts. That's not what we're talking about. I'm gonna let Carl go ahead. Go ahead, Carl. Explain what you're talking about.
I'm going to just go back to the recent legislation, just the recent Civil Rights Act of 1964. Because there was segregation, because there was discrimination, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was supposed to reverse all that. And we were supposed to be the protected class. Although they redefined freedmen and inserted minority in there and added other people group has also within that category. We were supposed to be the protected category, the freedmen.
And we can thank Jesse Jackson for that, right?
Jesse Jackson came along 20 years later,
Gotcha.
but somebody cosplayed us in 1964 by inserting minority
Right.
instead of inserting freedmen. Just think about this. We were the people being segregated. We were the people being discriminated against. How in the world did these other people groups get inserted in that legislation? No,
Right.
not in the legislation. How did they get inserted in the regulation?
Right.
You see, the legislation was race neutral, but somebody came along and inserted this new term called minority in the compliance, in the enforcement, in the regulatory section. And what we can do is get Trump to do an executive order to take care of that and put specifically the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is designed specifically for the American freedmen. That would solve a whole lot of problems in those agencies and those federal agencies that they would have to target funding resources to the American freedmen. I'll land with that.
So that that conversation earlier about mass shooting and why the terminology mass shooting is not associated to our demographics of people when we're shooting one another in our community. You never hear mass shooting concerning us. Based on that you read there, Joe, was probably the most did you drop that in the you dropped that in because I won't
Yeah, I'm working
sway
on
me
it.
to read that, see that as well. That was probably the best piece of information of how we have been domesticated, we've been bamboozled, and we've been hustled by what terminology.
Our black leaders, our
Yes.
black progressive leaders,
Yes.
black progressive leaders are allowing their white counterparts to
Yes.
redefine words that would
Yes.
benefit other people group and not
Right.
specifically our people.
Where everybody else, and what's the crazy thing is, we all now know that every other demographics of people who comes to America, they work what specifically what's best for who? Themselves. Every time we try to do the same thing, we have people that try to navigate. Oh, we want to do what's right for us as Americans. Okay, we want to do right for us as Americans, and we can't do anything specifically for you. Isn't that what Kamala Harris said? Isn't that the same thing what Obama said? Okay, can we go there?
Absolutely.
Did we hear him say, hey, I'm the president? What did he say? You know,
Of
I'm the
everybody.
president for who? I'm the president for all Americans. I ain't supposed to, but when everybody else get in there and they get to focus on what's specifically about for them, oh, we or those people lobby for Asians and people lobby for Jews and everybody lobbying for that. Oh, there's no problem for them. But every time we stick our hands up and say that we want something particularly radar focused on us, oh no. You know, we ain't supposed to do that. You know, we got to focus on what's right for all Americans. We can't pull out you all and work on you. But if you go back to the original thing, as you just said, Carl, we supposed to have been the protected class. We supposed to have been the demographics of people who supposed to have been treated right because of this country intentional and put us in this position as a demographic. I mean, we're supposed to be that. But who, this is why I said be careful of the rabbit holes. We got caught up in those rabbit holes. You know what rabbit holes do, right? Joe, you know what a rabbit hole do, right?
Yeah, it take you somewhere else.
It takes you somewhere else.
I've been reading
And
your book. I've been reading your book over the weekend, America's Little Black Book by Norris Shelton. I'm on the 20th chapter. There are 39 chapters. And when I saw 39, I said, okay, in the Bible, there are 39 chapters in the Old Testament. But anyway, I've been reading America's Little Black Book by Norris Shelton, and he is on point.
was he on point?
He was on point. Now a few of his phrases need to be upgraded, but he was on point.
Yes.
Uh,
I tell anyone that's us culturally. If you're not, I mean, if everybody talks about Claude Anderson, and and I love Claude, and I read a few of his books. I read a lot of his books, but if you've not read Noah Shelton, America's Little Black Book, um, it's something that you need to read because Noah Shelton really exposes something that, and Carl, would you agree? I mean, I'm gonna go right here. He said something that I at the time I was still calling, I was calling myself an African American when I met him. Even though I didn't like the term black, I didn't like the term black. I was calling myself an African American. And when I met him and he exposed me to his book. Oh, matter of fact, before I even go, the metaphor. Now, Carl, I wrote this already, so it makes me. You just called me America's Little Black Book. What else is that saying? Just the title, America's Little Black Book. What else? What's the metaphor? This ties into Joe. If you can't comprehend, if you're not astute to understand the title, you may miss the benefit to turn to your benefit. So I need to ask you, Carl, America's Little Black Book. What else is that title saying? Carl, are we frozen? Are you still there, Joe?
I would say, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I would say it's America's Little Black Book. It's their manual on
I meant
how to create a slave class.
okay, okay, okay. Do you remember?
Their their
Okay,
their 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 secret manual.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Because
Black book.
you
You ever
your
heard when
black book.
somebody say I
I
got a
used to
black
have a
book?
black book when I was younger. I used to have a little black book. It was bigger than a little black book, but yeah, it had
It kept
some
what?
numbers in it. It
You
had
didn't want
some
everybody
secrets.
to see, right?
Nah. Everybody didn't need to see them numbers and all them ladies that was in there. Nah.
Mr. Shelton was crafty when he titled his book America's Little Black Book. When I came up there and asked him about when I finished reading the book, he's the first one that told me the word astute. He said to me, he said, most people are not astute to understand the title of my book. And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, America's Little Black Book. What am I saying? He said, many of us are not astute to understand the title of my book. That blew me away when I realized he's talking about all. When you've been reading the book, he's talking about all the secrets, the hidden gems that America actually not wanted us to know. Is he not dropping it in the book?
Yeah,
Did you catch that? He's exposing all the things that America did not want you to know because it's been kept in America's Little Black Book. That's why I like his book so much. Thank you for bringing that up. And that's why I wrote my book the way it is too. I am not your black, comma, America. You got to understand the title so you can understand what you're reading inside. Okay. So America's Little Black Book is really about learning all the things that America do not want you to know. He exposed it all in his book. What do you say? When you read enough now? Would you agree, Carl?
Yeah, yeah. On the back of it says, Shelton set out to unravel the mystery of why his people have so long tolerated being treated with less dignity and respect when compared to other ethnic groups in our own country. His conclusion will surprise you. In this book are observations about the collective birthright of an entire people and their need for self realization and action. His fresh new thinking and prescription for change could well break the chain of ignorance that has perpetually plagued these people and has a result paved the way toward a true racial relations breakthrough in America. Yeah, America's Little Black Book. He's exposing all the little secrets in this book.
There you go. That's why I have said that he was the father at ADS, American Descent, but he actually came out in his book. He says descendants of American slaves, and later it's not written in this book. Later, me, him, and a few other people, we came up with American descendants of slaves because American descendants of slaves is not in the book, right? Right? You haven't seen anything about says it says descendants of American slaves or American slaves, right? That's in his book because he wrote his book in 2000. His book dropped in 2005. He was not saying American descendants of slaves. He was saying American slaves and descendants of American slaves. Am I right?
Yes,
Only like
descendants of American slaves.
right. I keep going to you since you're the one probably you're the most person who's reading the book. And I know I read the book 5 times already. I understand it. So the concept of American descendants of slaves only came about after me and him met and all the other people that I brought on. And you know what, Joe? Guess who? Actually, Joe, I'm gonna let it be recorded. Guess who's the person that actually? Guess
Cosby.
who? Do you know? Do you remember? Do you know the person who actually
Cosby.
gave us the term? Huh?
Oh, not Cosby.
No, no, no. Martin Smith.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yes, yes, Martin Smith. Martin Smith was working on the American Party. And
We
so
still got to get
he
him on the
got to
show.
meet, yeah, we still got to get him on the show. So, and I, and so he got to meet Noah Shelton through me and everything. And Noah Martin went with us to St. Louis when we doing the Brown thing, the all the things that was going on in Missouri and St. Louis and everything. And so after he had that experience with us, he says, and this he called me. He said, "Me, Sean, I think you all should actually, instead of saying descendants of American slaves, I think because he was working on the American Party, he said, I think you should say American descendants of slaves." And I like, prior to that, no one was saying American descendants of slaves before Martin Smith said that too. We was on a conference call, okay, and we was talking, and so we called up Doctor Curlin. Doctor Curlin didn't like the concept; he liked the descendants of American slaves. We called up Norris. We called up Peter, okay, and I made it was me. You know how I made a decision. No, I like that. Dr. Norris, we gonna start saying American descendants of slaves. I like that. Put America first. And that's where ADOS was birthed with Noah Shelton, but the credit goes to Martin Smith. Martin Smith is the one that gave me, Noah Shelton, Dr. Curlin, Peter Hayes. He was the one on a conference call that came out. Maybe a lot of our people not going to want to accredit it that a white right for us. Okay. I'm going to say what is right for us is we cannot be afraid to examine the truth. We got to not be afraid to hold people to the truth. We got to not be afraid to back people up. When I say corner them on the truth, make people respond to the truth. Now, there's a thing about when you know truth, you got to be what? Accountable for the truth that you know. Now, a lot of truth gets people in trouble. Some truth can get you in trouble. You know, if you're a married man and everything, as I am, sometimes telling everything you know, like what I did in my first relationship. I told everything I knew about my childhood to my first wife. It was the truth. It wasn't good for me to tell my first wife. You know, okay, y'all not laughing, y'all don't understand, but it wasn't good to tell everything I knew. Okay, maybe when I tell you what took place in my drill sergeant, when my drill sergeant came out and asked me why I was standing, the truth was I was told by the other guys, drill sergeant, I was told that I wasn't in charge of nothing. It was the truth, right? But that truth led to us being dogged by that drill sergeant. So the next time I'm standing out in front of the platoon after I've got beat up from what they call a blanket party, I got my ass whipped, okay, by the whole platoon. The truth got my ass whipped, okay. So when the drill sergeant came back up and asked me, Private Floyd, what happened to you? You think I'm gonna repeat? You think I'm gonna repeat the truth? See, are y'all with me?
We
The truth
following.
shall give you a beating.
Huh?
The truth shall get you beat.
Sometimes the truth, you may have to suffer the consequences of the truth. And Reverend Moon, in his book, he says, sometimes you gotta lie. He says this, and I want to spoil it. He actually says there are some things in the Bible that God has lied about, and I'm only gonna leave. I like Reverend Moon said that, you know, and when I think about my story, when I saw that that's one of his quotes, and he says there's some things God lied about. I said what? And then I realized my story. I had to lie to my drill sergeant about what happened to me. The truth is, I was assaulted by my whole platoon. The truth is, I'm standing there with my fat lip and everything beat up and everything. The truth was, I should have. The truth was, Gerald Sergeant, this whole platoon beat me up and everything. They beat me up and whipped me up and everything, Gerald Sergeant. And then he asked me 3 times. The first time he asked me, I said I fell out of bed. He laughed. You, Floyd, you didn't fall out of bed. Look at you. The second time he asked me, it was the third time, when it was the second time, I noticed that he had a grin on my face, and I realized he messing with me. And I always ask this question when I tell these stories. And I'm gonna ask you, Carl, since you're the oldest one on here, did he really want me to tell him the truth? Or was I being baited? Come on, Carl, can talk to. Did he really want me to?
You was being baited.
I was being baited. Exactly. He didn't want me to tell the truth. The truth got my ass whipped, people. Why would I now tell the truth now? Nah. When I realized that he was messing with me, I looked him in his eyes and I said, Drill Sergeant, I told you I fell out of bed. And I'm hoping everybody's getting this lesson out of this, okay? He looked at me and he said, Private Floyd. Floyd was my last name back then. Floyd is actually my birth name, okay? Me, Sean T. Floyd is my father's name. Some people in my family says that we are related to George Floyd. I don't know. Some of my folks in Miami have said that. We haven't really got the full skinny on that. But anyway, my last name is Floyd, and I saw my Floyd name when I went to my father's gravesite and saw my middle name, Clyde Michon Floyd. That's my father's name. So, Private Floyd, what happened to you? I fell out of bed, Drill Sergeant. And then he says to me, all right, Private Floyd, I'm gonna leave you alone. And when the platoon, when he dismissed the platoon, the same guys who had whipped my ass, and these are older guys who was in the Black Panthers. See, in 1978, when I went in the military, the Black Panthers was being forced to either they were either be arrested and go to jail, or they could had the option of going in the military. So a large majority of the guys that was in my platoon was ex Black Panthers, but these same Black Panthers guys kicked my ass. Okay, and I never forget when they came around me and said, "Yo, man, you know, yo, man, you know they wasn't using the word snitch back then. Okay, they didn't say snitch. They said, man, you didn't tell on us, man. You know we all probably would have went to jail. Yeah, man. Man, you ain't got nothing to worry about, man. We got you, bro. Thank you for not, man. We will apologize. They took me, yeah, and I say, yeah, y'all whipped my ass, man. Yeah. But my basic training turned out to be the best basic training. I was 18, just so y'all know a little bit who I was 18 years old, weighing less than 100 pounds, looked at like a little frail kid and everything. And by the time basic training was, I was doing push-ups. I had built brother had gotten, man, guys was helping me get over the back. We had developed a sense of what camaraderie, not just camaraderie. We be turned out to be the number one platoon. Before I wasn't a Christian back then, I wasn't a believer. It was later, Carl, that I realized that I was the lamb. Carl, do you feeling me? I was the lamb.
The
I,
the sacrificial lamb to get the team together.
there you go.
Let me give you these 6 Christian ethics for the recording. Since we're talking about lying, let me give you 6 ethics right quick. Number 1, lying is neither right nor wrong. There are no laws. Number 2, lying is generally wrong. There are no universal laws. Number 3, lying is sometimes right. There is only one universal law. Number 4, lying is always wrong. There are many non-conflicting laws. Number 5, lying is forgivable. There are many conflicting laws. Number 6, lying is sometimes right. There are higher laws. So
Woo.
Corrie ten Boom lied because she was hiding the Jews. Oliver North lied in front of Congress because he was trying to save innocent lives, quote unquote. Rahab lied to the spies to save her Jewish brethren. So again, I gave you those 6 ethical things on lying, and everybody in the space got to choose for themselves.
Man, well played, brother. Well played. And I never knew and understood what the story I just told you about me lying until I was reading Divine Principles and saw Reverend Moon says God has lied. God has lied to us. And I like, what he meant by that? And I'm not going to leave it as that. Some of you are going to have to do your own. There are some things that God has lied to us about. Reverend Moon, he's the only religious person, spiritual person that actually have said that God has lied to us for our good. Mm, 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 mm. When
Now
I am,
I'm gonna have to check that out. I know some people
yeah,
in the Bible have lied, but I'm gonna have to check that other part
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna let you do your own research on that because it's deep. It's deep. There's things, I'm a hint to it, okay, but there's things that you can literally see what. And we talking about Old Testament. We only talking about Old Testament. That's where God we're really speaking to people in. Only talking in Old Testament. You can literally see in the Bible where God said some things that might have not been all true. Okay. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. It might have been told to you so you can what? Do what you needed to do. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. And matter of fact, I'm gonna throw this one in. Gillian, because we in the military we have the Gillian Bible. Okay. Gillian, it says what? It took how many people? I mean, how many people did it take for him to win that war? It took
I think 300.
300. He started with who? Somebody told him he can win that war with, you know. All right, I'm gonna be sleep. He got the word. We can also go to David too. Against Goliath. Okay. There are people. There some people. Or some would say God told someone that you can take this, you can do this, or you might not be able to do this. Or but this is you have to exercise your faith. Faith is not based on what substance that is understood, but what based on what you believe. Did you catch that?
I got you. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Guess who done blessed us? I thought I saw Miss Swamy. You want to? No, not Swamy. Mr. Miles. I saw you. Did you want to come up and say something? But I see John Yaw in here. John, what's up, John? How you doing, man? You sent him a. Yeah, we were just bright. Did you hear us talking about you? You must have heard us talking about you, man. I mean, we don't record. I don't listen to your little portion about 3 times already, man. That you blessed us. You blessed us with your presence.
Did Joe put it in the jumbotron?
Man, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that.
Oh, you just copy it. All you got to do is copy what you send out. Just copy it. Just the same way that you copied and sent it to me and put it. I just copied and put it in the.
That's nah. It's more to it than I've not seen you put anything in the jumbotron.
No, not in the jumbotron. I'm talking about in the blue pill. Okay, you're not the jumbotron. I'm talking about in the blue pill.
It's in the blue pill. But
okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the.
Yeah, no. But when people say the jumbotron, there's a difference. And
yeah, I know. I know how to do that. I have to show you. I can't explain it to you. People season. I know how to put something up there, but it takes me a little while. But I get things up there.
Yeah, I mean, I added it to highlights. That's all. That's the only thing I know. So
no, that little box. That little box underneath it got a. Matter of fact, Swamy know how to do it. She's seasoned at this thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Swamy, you want to come up and explain to Joe how to do that real quick? Mr. Wiles, Swamy, anyone of y'all want to come up and say something? Hello, Mr. Miles.
I sent the invite, but she might be. I sent her an invite. She might be out.
What's up, Mr. Miles? Oh, there she is.
Yeah, I can. It's just when you post it in the purple pill, then you hit on. There's a arrow on the right hand side, and then it should you click on the title of your room and it should share. So I just did something like that. Do y'all see it?
But you can actually do it. You now that you anyone. Oh yeah, anyone who's a co-host. No, anyone can do it
So
as
once you
well.
come to the stage, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, right. Like you can do it. Right. You can take. Did you just do it, Joe? Yeah, you just did it. Yeah, you just
I
did it.
did. Or
Yeah, yeah,
did
it's up
Sway me
there.
do
Yeah.
it?
No, who did it? Did you do it, Sway Me or Joe?
I
I
shared
I
mass.
might have
I
did. He
shared.
did it. He did it,
I
and I did
I
it.
shared.
I'll remove.
I shared the mass shooting.
There you go. Yeah, there it is, right there in the Jumbotron. Yeah, there it is.
But I'm sorry, guys. I have to go. I was stepping in for a little bit. But what were you saying about the mass shootings?
Um, any word that you had in the thought process towards mass shootings and what is right for us? Because what we put in the Jumbotron is ChatGPT and the difference between mass shooting versus how it gets labeled in our community versus how it gets labeled in another community.
Oh, yeah. I hate that Chat GBT is linking the Latinos with us. Though we are our own people. I'm tired of them being lumped with us because that in itself is a game too. But yes, there is, like where it says community violence tend to get framed as a local crime issue. So the funding often goes in the form of policing dollars instead of community investment. And what we're seeing in Chicago is basically corruption. It is what it
Right.
is. Yeah, they've been taking the money. They have not
For
been,
quite a long time, haven't they, Sway Me?
exactly. And the nonprofits that supposedly have the black people as the front, or black people, or have a nonprofit, they not doing the work.
We seen it right here in Louisville, Kentucky. You ain't telling me anything I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going back into the community to help the people in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's all an image and trickery and illusion while they steal the monies. That's all
Poverty
that is.
pimping people. That's why I coined that phrase down here. Now I'm seeing a lot more people using it. Poverty pimping preachers, pastors, professors, and people in our community. They've been pimping our community. And how you know when I say poverty pimping, where all the gross poverty at? Where's all the poverty at in our communities? Where you got all these black churches and everything, and we got the gross amount of poverty in our community. Have y'all even noticed that? That's where it all like. I mean, when you scale it down and you look at it and see where the gross amount of poverty at, you can also count how many black churches in that community or how many nonprofit organizations and the Democratic Party in that community. Okay, am I being too harsh? I'm not being too harsh, am I?
What do you mean? I mean, it is what it is. It's
Right,
reality. It's last 50, 60 years. Look where we at. And nothing specific for us. And then on top of that, the monies that do go to the nonprofits, there's still nothing been changed in our
right,
community. So
right.
When
it
black
is what it
people
is.
Absolutely.
That's
wake
the
up
truth.
And that's the
and
truth. And that's
become
why it's time for us to
intellectually
change things.
independent
And I'm
enough.
really excited about what I believe the Freeman and things going and what's happening with that. I believe they're going to be and I want to say this to you, Swamy, there's going to be multi aspects of the Freeman movement. Okay. We had our Freeman cookout this yesterday, and we got a couple new people that stepped up and everything. There's some new things. There's some things about to come down with the Freeman Nation and everything. So I'm excited about that. And I want you to also know that people in this group have sent out your flyer. I seen Joe posted all over on our Facebook page your petition. Okay.
And what's interesting about the way it works is you get feedback as to people signing up.
Right.
So that's actually pretty cool. And you can go slap some people in the back of the head who have yet, once you tag them and
Right.
know that they've seen it.
I
Right,
attempted to lay it out so people understand that, they do for others, it should not be an issue doing for us. It's all
right.
about us making sure we put it out there. So and it's been said, I'm ready to do business. But people still, I don't know, I don't get it. Well, he says that, but is he gonna do that? Well, if you see him doing it for others, then you got to hold him accountable to do it for you.
And who responsibility to hold someone accountable? This is one of the things I was angry, even though that $500 billion that was in that package that Ice Cube presented and everything, even though Joe Biden did not do anything, it was still our responsibility. It wasn't. We should not have sat around and waited for him to come get us to talk about it. It should have been our responsibility to peddle that and to peddle it right back to Trump when he got back into office. And I that's one of the things I've been angry about. Is say, I have never seen $500 billion or so. Only numbers I ever heard associated with us concerning any sense of reparation was 40 acres and a mule. Okay, and when I found out that 40 acres and a mule was actually only said by a general. It was never. Did y'all know that it was never? It was never constituted as any legal legislation. 40 acres in a mule. Did you know that?
Well,
That was
they
that.
did start and then reconfiscated the land from the people that they did start with giving. I think
But it
like
was a. But it
1,000.
was a general. But it was only a general that made it. Was it didn't go through Congress. It didn't go through no legal thing. It was just a general. It was a time of war, and he made a statement about 40 acres and a mule. It never got any. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't get any no legislation behind it. No nothing. It's all. It was just a general made that statement. 40 acres and a mule. So when I heard $500 billion, 500 B is the first time anything of that substantial number by any political party, one of the two political parties,
And we was mad because he was talking to Trump.
and we was
Do
mad
it, do it
because he
matter where the money come from? Do it
and
really
and
matter
we
where the
let
money
it
come from?
and we let it we let it we le- and I'm gonna say we let it. Don't You can't blame Trump. You can't blame
No,
you.
no, I'm not gonna blame me because
You
I
know you.
was down with it.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I'm
It's the
talking about when I
majority
say
of the
us, I'm talking about us as a
indoctrinated
collective.
amongst us. Let's
Yeah,
make it be known.
I know,
There's
no, I'm
some
with you. I know.
indoctrinated
Don't blame
fools
me because I was
amongst
with it.
us.
Joe, right? Joe, we was with it. Me, Joe, all of us, we was with it. But we wasn't the ones that beat him up for talking about it. I want to know why it wasn't brought back up again. Damn, where did it go?
It hasn't been brought back up because the people went so, and they're still going hard against Trump. They're still going hard, and even in that platinum plan, he says, "Hey, we'll set your offices up separate from everybody else's." Hence the
It's
reason
right
why
there.
now
I know.
I'm saying, "Hey, we want everything separate from everyone else."
It was all lined up
Absolutely.
in it was all
Absolutely.
lined up. It was all lined up, and and when I say we, I'm talking about the collective with us. I don't separate myself from, even though I was for it, but I just wasn't. I guess I wasn't in a position to collectively as a demographics of people. We allowed that. I mean, we still, even with me saying it, we can still do something with it. Go back because it's written. It's in ink, people. It's right there sitting for us. We can change. We can put the Freeman on top of it. Matter of fact, Sweeney, you can go grab it and make it part of your. Listen, we can do anything. It's right there. It's right there, sitting with everything we were talking about. Anyway, this is like the second time I have went in talking about it, trying to get certain people to move on it because I that's before I got caught up in the Freeman. Until just now, I just realized, maybe I just need to push the envelope. What you think, Joe? Man, I just need to push the damn envelope and say, and go grab it and attach, maybe bring it to. I don't know. What you think? Are you still there, Swaney? Maybe I need to grab it.
Well, we
And we need
already sat at the table with one of his deputies, senior advisors, and she
right. I
knows
know you did.
exactly what we worked with her. Had conference calls with her. I just think, you know what, I'm gonna be patient because
Okay.
we're gonna get that call and we're gonna sit there and we're gonna do business, and everybody else just gonna have to go along with what we do because they
Amen.
don't have the astuteness to be able to make these decisions at this point in time.
I
It
am
is what
so
it is.
glad that you just said. I'm glad that you are feeling the word astuteness. That word astuteness
Perfect
is
time to use it.
it is right. That was the perfect time to use it, and you played it right. Exactly. We, when I think about, and let me tell you something. Norris Shelton said when he said the title of his book, "I'm not your," he says, "America's Little Black Book." He might as well have put a comma between black, America's Little Black Book. America's Little Black Book. He should have put a comma between America, comma, Little Black Book. He was literally telling us there's things in here that you all are not astute to, that y'all need to familiarize yourself to turn it to your benefit, because that's the second part of astute. How do you turn what it is you understand to your benefit? And I believe that culturally, we have been played for our lack of astuteness. I want to see if John Yah wants to come up and speak to that. I believe we have been played, culturally to our lack of astuteness, to not be able to take what we see. I mean, because I think John would probably understand this probably better than any of us on here, because what he went through. There's no way John could have ever been able to accomplish and achieve if he had not gotten the astuteness, okay, of learning how to overcome. And then he played it to his benefit. Every single one of us can do the same thing. It's like playing a game of chess. You got to first become aware of what's being played before you or what's being done. And then you have to take that you discovered and apply it to who? To your benefit. That's the key. That's why when Noah Shelton said that word astuteness, and I went and looked it up, I realized that is what's been hurting us as a whole. We have been lacking proper astuteness. And I pause for a reason.
Go ahead.
I pause for a reason so we can what? Turn to our benefit. Go ahead, Carl.
I like what you said. I like what Norris Shelton said in his book. We have perfected the art of fighting against one another. We
Yeah.
have perfected the art of fighting against one another. In all my years, the freedman status is the superior route to get resources for our demographic of people. All we have to do is get together and push the freedman status, descendants of American slaves, and get the data aggregated to that one set group of people for our resources to go to that demographic of people. It is race neutral.
Right.
And would you say, Carl, that more importantly, why that would be such or the better terminology is because it was once legal jargon,
Right.
correct?
Absolutely. And I know some people don't like Ann Coulter, but Ann Coulter is the splitting image of the white wasp person in America. and she have been saying for decades, we don't owe anything to Hispanics. We don't owe anything to Asians. We don't owe anything to LGBTQ people. The only people we owe something to is the descendants of American slaves. She have been saying that.
She's recorded saying that too. Absolutely.
And again, we
Put
have
that
to
in
have
the
the
put that in
we
the spot there, Carl. Put that in
we
there
have to
too.
have the astuteness to galvanize together and say, hey, Clarence Thomas been telling us for decades it's race neutral. The Constitution is race neutral. Freedman status is the route to go. The descendants of American slaves. Freedmen. American freedmen. And I land there.
You know,
Hey,
one
put
of the
that.
reasons why John Yah was able to get from his situation, he took it. He took this up to the Supreme Court.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize he took it that far up.
I believe, if I remember correctly, he took it to the Supreme Court, and I don't know because I think doesn't every state have a Supreme Court?
Oh yeah,
Right?
every state. Yeah.
Yeah, so it may have been at the state level,
the local
but
area.
but he took it to the Supreme Court in Kentucky. And, you know, again, this is a brother. Let me just say this. This is a brother who had 20 years over his head twice and was able to. Now, whether he did whatever, whether he, you know, that's all, that's null and void conversation. Because at this point in time, this is the brother who got himself together and decided that, you know, and in jail, because part of this is, again, mindset. We talked about that Thursday, but part of this is mindset. He imagined himself as the greatest incense man, and now he is living that actual imagination. He was in solitary confinement for a grave most of his sentencing, and if you don't do something with your mind, you will go crazy, right? So with that in mind, he focused his mind on the imagination. And so he imagined himself outside of prison. He imagined himself, he focused on studying and learning the law, but he imagined himself in particular spaces, and he got himself in those particular spaces. I mean, how many people can say they beat, 20 years twice and got out after 3 years?
You know, you've been around John longer than I have, and I know he's sitting here and everything but I don't know if you want to cover, but I don't think I've ever heard John say that white supremacy existed for him. I don't think I have. Tell me, am I right or wrong? I don't think I ever heard. I know I say I don't.
That's not terminology that you would ever hear John say, because again, what he speaks about is the ability to govern your own world. He said before that racism doesn't exist in his world.
His world, that's right. He did say that.
Racism may exist out here, this, that, and the other, but it doesn't exist in my world. It doesn't exist, and you have the ability, you have that control, and that's the part that people forget. Because on one hand, we'll say, God got me, and I'm a queen or king of the Most High. But on the other hand,
we say the white man.
We say the white man. We say racism exists, and we feed into it. So of course, people know that racism exists in general, but does it exist in your world? You have the ability to have that control when it comes to that conversation. So, again, that's all you, and that's where people miss it. People don't understand the idea of speaking and thinking things to existence. Think about it. How many times have you sat there and you thought about a person one day, and then next thing you know, you're getting a phone call or you run into them at the store?
Right.
You did that. You literally spoke and thought that person up. That was you. You did that. So how many times have how many people know somebody who I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna get sick, oh man, I'm gonna get sick, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get sick. I know people like that. And guess what? Them people always get sick because they speaking. You know what I mean? So again, if you got faith and you're tapped into an energy source of this most high, this universal law, this power that governs all and around, well then why do you speak so lowly when you say things like, I can't do this because the white man that, I can't do that because the white man this? No, you move as you move, as you speak and things into existence, and you speak and think things into existence. You have the control to make your destiny be as you choose.
And I believe that's why I was able to win my lawsuit. I used these 3 words even when I was talking to my attorney, and even when I stood in front of the judge. I was talking about that I'm not here as a black man. I'm here at this before I knew about Freeman. I say I'm here as an American descendant of slaves, knowing that I have a birthright, a place, and an inheritance. I said my ancestors multiple times have been mistreated and deceived based on the very thing that I'm standing here on. But today, I'm standing here to make it right. I spoke my inheritance in place before I even, and the only thing I want everybody to know why I was, I never was there about the money. Okay. I just want everybody to understand it. I was there because they lied on my name. See, I'm going to tell you something. If you're not willing to defend your name, why should anybody else defend it? That's why I was there. I was willing to just take my 401k and get unemployment, and I wasn't even going to work for a little while. I was just going to take my unemployment and go on by my business when they fired me, and I wasn't going to say anything. It's when my wife and I was at home and we got the phone call from the unemployment office. And the unemployment office told me, Mr. Daniels, we cannot approve you any unemployment benefits. And I said, why? Because the hospital has identified you as a terroristic threatening to employees and patients. And I'm able to say it now without becoming emotional. My wife witnessed me break down. I broke down. I gave that down place 18 years of my professional career. Y'all don't know me, but Joe is the only one that knows me. Being the best motherfucking surgical technologist in that hospital, I knew my shit. And
And
they look.
in a sense, I mean, would you say that I mean, did you feel, some people would say, well, and I've said in the past, I go above and beyond
Yeah,
in the
right.
workspace.
Yeah,
And I may, simply because understanding structures in place
right.
may be looked at as average. Okay, so I go even more above and beyond,
Yeah,
and I get rewarded for
right.
that. Uh,
Right.
but too many of us, and this isn't even a race thing. Too many of us say, "Well, they're only paying me for this."
I'm only gonna do
You know what I mean?
this.
You couldn't have done what you did with your lawsuit if you were not an asset.
Yeah.
Because honestly, to look at it, it's as if, okay, well, how is from a judge perspective, how is it that you guys have this asset that is all of a sudden such a problem?
You are,
Yeah.
you look how astute you are. I'm going to say that my first attorney said to me, and I know what he meant. I was too early in the case, but he said to me before I understood what he said. I knew it later. he says, he said, listen, you're getting rid of me, and I understand. He said, but I want to let you know, and he said this to me, and I didn't hear it. He said, this judge is your judge. He said, this is your judge. And I didn't quite understand it until 4.5 years later. And what you just said there, Joe, that came out from her mouth. How can this man be all this that y'all saying when there's no proof that he is this, but there's proof of his what? His excellent work and everything. So how can he be there? How can he be this? Okay.
And
And
that's why a lot of us
yeah,
cannot go there when it comes to, getting wrongfully fired on the
right.
job, this, that, and the other, because you gave them too much ammo. Otherwise,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I mean, let's just take Bill Cosby for a second. The brother was trying to buy NBC, and that's the rumor, and then all of a sudden, all these allegations came out. Look, I mean, I believe the system
They
at
knew who he
play.
was before he did all that.
They can fabricate a lot,
Right.
but 50, oh man, you guilty of at least one. 30, you guilty of at least one.
At
I
least
mean,
one.
you know what I mean? So my thing is, if you're the person that leaves the parties, ain't at the parties, and then some people say, oh, well, everybody was done. Okay, let's say what our mama says. Everybody jumping off the bridge, you gonna do it too? No.
Right.
So, if you're the person that leaves the parties and not staying late and this, that, and that, ain't nobody got no finger to point at you when Diddy gets indicted. You see what I'm saying? So again, stop giving them ammo.
And what you said there, Joe, they researched me, brother. They pulled up, they went in my Facebook. I didn't even know you can download your
Oh yeah.
Facebook stuff. I had to get a drive to download the number of years I've been in Facebook. They wanted my everything. These people went all the way back to where I was in my childhood, my military, things that I just said on Facebook. They will grab. And the interesting thing, when I was in the deposition, what is right for us? Let me tell you what is right. If you can keep yourself clean and clean, okay, the best way you can do it, no one can find no fault in you. No fault in you. They was trying to find all type of dirt on me, man. Man,
Man,
did they get
I was just sitting there thinking, like, if they had came to me, look, Your Honor, look, I don't know anything about terroristic threat. This man ain't terroristic threat, but he is a close talker. He will close talk you.
Hey, the crazy thing, brother, I need to say this too. They couldn't find my 20 years there was a testament of me. They found nurses that didn't know me that well but had issues with me. They were the only ones. They could not find nobody else, no doctors, no one came up and people was. I had one person say, I'm not in it, me, Sean. I'm not. They done came to me. I'm not getting in this. Everybody came to me later. Me, Sean, I didn't want to get, but they came to me, but I told them, I'm not getting me. That's not me, Sean. I know. I don't know what you're talking about. It was amazing. It was amazing. I will say, your character, you only have your name in your character. How you living it? What is right for us? What is right for you? How are you living? What are they going to say about you when they come after you and you done something or whatever the case is? What's the report on you? What's going to be said about you? Okay.
Okay, we got Mr. Miles, and then Duke got his hand up.
Go ahead, Mr. Miles.
Hey, what's going on there, Mishan, Carl, Joe, brother Joe? How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, doing good, man. Feeling pretty good.
Fantastic, brother.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback what you was talking about. You said something about clean hands. You guys, you stay in the word. So I got to come back with that because you pushing me. You know what I'm saying? You're pushing me now. I try to stay cool, but you exactly right. That's what the word tells us in Psalms. It say that's what he's talking about. Clean hand and a pure heart. I really believe that too. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I've been in my occupation, with my profession, about 21 years. I was sharing you guys that. Business owner, small business owner, 21 years. So I really worked hard. But one thing about it was I made my show in this industry that I am. It's very racist. So I had to go over a lot of obstacles. They didn't want to see, especially a young black man in this profession right here doing so good. So I had to be better than all the rest of them. So not just being good, my actions, my character had to line up to what I did at work, also at home. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, what
So
you said?
and in the street. So clean hands and a pure heart does make a big difference. I just wanted to piggyback with that there, sir.
Hey,
Thank you.
well said. I appreciate you coming up and saying that because there is some, hey, hey, Joe, I can be a little cocky, I can be cocky, right? I can be a little arrogant and everything. So they got, they was getting jackets for all of us, scrub techs and everything. I'm gonna come to you, Duke. And so they said, what do you want to put on your jacket and everything? I put surgical tech extraordinaire on my jacket. And then what I would say, people like me, Sean. I don't know what I said. That's what I want on my jacket. I want on my jacket surgical tech extraordinaire. Okay,
But if you were a terrible surgical
they were
technologist,
right.
they wouldn't have allowed you
They
to
were
put that on.
right. Hear what you just said, Joe. If I wasn't that, guess what? God, me, Sean, you have made that nonsense up, right? But they couldn't what? They couldn't dispute it, right? They couldn't dispute it. Go ahead, Duke.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
How you doing?
All right. Just to talk about the prompt, what's right for us. I think at this point, what's right for us is just to stop complaining about racism and everything else. Just start building. I mean, there's a lot of people that just keep talking about racism.
Right.
Like, that's not gonna change. That's not gonna change. White people, whoever don't won't like us, that's fine. That's cool. We have to learn to deal with that and build up,
Right.
and not only build up, but build up efficiently and build up defenses to defend what we build up.
Right.
We can't keep talking about shit. We can't keep talking about people's nature.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, that's the thing that I really am pissed off with us about, is that we just keep complaining about racism, keep talking about slavery.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff like
I know.
that. And like it was bad. I understand that, but it's AI age right now, and we're far behind, and we're still talking about this shit 400, 500 years later.
Right.
And we're behind. So we need to just quit talking about this and just build. Just
move forward.
Move forward. Fuck them and just build. Like, whoever hates you, whatever. As long as they're not trying to kill you, and even if they are, you have to be intelligent enough to play the game.
That's right.
Yeah,
oh man, did you just? Hey, Duke? Did you just say what I said? Did you say? Did you just say you have to know how to do what? Got to know it. Hey, as soon as he said it, guess who fell out? Hey, did y'all notice that? Hey, did y'all notice that?
Hold on. Let me ask a question. Hey, Duke.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind me asking, bro, and this is no slight or nothing like that. What's your nationality?
I'm black.
Okay. All right.
Black American.
I was wondering. I felt like I heard a little bit of an accent. and I was
Oh
trying to make
no,
it out. But
I am from Florida, but I guess if
oh
you
yeah,
know,
about the damn white. Yep.
yeah.
Hey, we
Yeah,
felt, but the both of us from
yeah.
Florida too, brother. I'm
Oh,
from
okay.
Miami.
Oh, I was born in Miami. I'm actually raised in Sarasota. So
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what's up. That's
Hey,
what's up.
Jackson Memorial.
no, Sarasota
Now you
is
said Sarasota.
Oh, I
Sarasota.
thought he
It's
said he was born in Miami.
I was born in Miami. I think it was the hospital in Carroll City.
Oh,
Yeah.
Carroll
I haven't
City.
been there.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not. They. I hear it's not even named Carroll City anymore, man.
Oh, for real?
It's Miami Gardens now, brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Well, they
I
done.
haven't
They,
been there in a whole
if
while.
anything, they done merged because
Yeah.
Miami Gardens was always Miami Gardens, and Carroll City was always Carroll City.
Yeah,
so
yeah, but there's no more Carroll City. It's
they must have merged
Miami
or something.
Gardens now. Yeah, it's Miami Gardens. But yeah, you said the key word, and it's funny. I mean, we laughing because us who've been in. I've been saying that it's a chess game. It's a game. You got to learn how to win the game. And as soon as you said that, our local friend just fell off and ran.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people don't want to hear that. People just want to complain.
Yeah,
all the
blame.
time,
But it's playing the game, but being astute. And by definition of astute is to be able to what, gather the information and then use it to your benefit.
Right.
So playing the game
There you go.
astutely.
Right.
Anybody saying you got to sell out or nothing like that. Be true to who you
Right.
are. But again, understand this
Be
ain't your
true to who
monopoly
you
board.
are, right?
This ain't your monopoly board. So
And know the rules.
yeah, know the rules.
You can't play Uno in chess. You can't play chess in Monopoly. You got to play the appropriate rules to the appropriate game. Okay? And that's our problem. And one of the biggest things, and I think John Yard would appreciate this as well, is that the legal game is serious. You got to know the legal game, baby. You got to know the Jara. You got to know and no one clowning. And I mean, man.
And when you talk the legal game, you talking first and foremost and primarily the Constitution.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had to get man. Listen, I will say the best thing that happened for me is having a green attorney. I'm going to just say that. I'm going to say this, okay? Because when I had the seasoned 20-year, 30-year attorneys, they were corrupt. They were corrupt. They wasn't about to let a brother like me, who wasn't willing to play ball the way they wanted me to play ball. I wouldn't say what they wanted me to say. I wouldn't write what they wanted me to write, and I wouldn't allow them to tell me what they wanted to tell me. Nah. You ain't gonna get to tell me. So the best thing happened to me is when I fired my first attorney. He was a 20-year, 30-year veteran because he was trying to play me. Now I'm gonna say what he trying to play me. He was trying to play me ignorant, broke, and NIGGER. And I remember when I came home and told my wife, I said, I think this dude is trying to play me ignorant, broke, and the N-word. I told my wife that. I think this person is. And I said, I don't know. I got a meeting with him tomorrow. I think I'm going to sit them down and let them know. You heard me, buddy. Who y'all think you talking to? And I did. I went in there. I went off on him. And
was that before or after he was giving you wrong court times?
No. That's what before. I'm saying that's what cost him. That's what cost me. And a week later, I got something in the mail. Telling me we had a court date, and he was and in the thing that he wrote, it said that he was deciding that to relinquish himself from my case. And I was like, damn, where that came from? And I had to call him. And, well, he said that this is the court date. And and he lied. He didn't give me the right court date. It was lucky I had good friends. I mean, I good friends. The guy lied to me, and come to find out that he did not put the right court date in the number that I was supposed to call him. They was going to try to have court without me being there. I want to pause. How many? So for him to have done that, how many times you think they have done that to people?
Probably.
Where the client's supposed to have been there, but they have in court, but you can't be there because they gave you the wrong information. I had a good friend of mine who told me, I don't think that's the right number, B. Sean. I said, what do you mean? He said, I bet it's not the right number. And sure enough, it wasn't. I was astute enough and saw the court district, and I called up the judge who was going to be, and I talked to her administrative assistant. And that's how me being astute, I called up the administrative assistant and found out the judge that was doing. And I said, I've been trying to call this number because I'm supposed to be calling into this case. And then she said, oh, yeah. I told her my name and everything. She said, oh, yeah. I said, but I've been calling this number here and it's not going through. He said, so what's the number? I said, this is the number that is right here. He says, he sent it to me and everything. She said, he sent you? That's not the correct number. It's not? She said, no, you can't call in with that number. She said, why don't you just come to court? I said, you mean I can come? She said, yeah, the judge would love to see you. And so I didn't call.
And you know it wasn't a mistake because that's a seasoned attorney.
Yes, they're right. Then what? There you go. You caught
you already had one eye open,
right?
Because of how he was moving and trying to get through the move.
Yeah.
So you was already skeptical about him anyway.
Right. So
and then he went and did that.
Yeah. So I show up. I didn't call him and let him know I was gonna be. Hey. I got there early because I found out I went there early. So I sat there and allowed multiple cases go on while I'm sitting there. I wanted to be there. And then they called my name in the hospital name. And I came up. The hospital and my attorney is all on the phone. All on the phone. And the judge says, call today. So this case against Mr. Daniels and so on that's here. What's going on here? I see that you have a request to no longer want to represent Mr. Daniels, and Mr. Daniels has approved it. I said, no, ma'am. And the judge says, your client is here, and they said, this is how I knew he's there. Did you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
They were shocked that I was there. Their intent was, and this is what I learned later, their intent was, oh, judge, this is his request. He wanted me to be off the case, so we just filed the paperwork and everything for his request. And he didn't even show, so I guess he didn't need to show because I'm doing what he asked me to do. And they were trying to get rid of me. And then if I've not been there, guess how much time it would have took for me to try to refile and get that done? Do you understand what I'm saying?
You would have had to start over.
I had to start all over.
And that's the thing. These are tactics that big corporate uses often, especially when it comes
to us.
And when we do not know, when we don't understand, when we don't go
this is why I'm talking about it. I'm having these conversations. Of course, I can't tell you. I'm talking about the tactics that are played against us. At will, they can fire us at will. That is a law in all the states. They can fire you at will, as long as not the 5 principal things that can be federally charged against you, okay, or a corporation, your race, sex, religion, age. You cannot be fired for any of those things. For anything else, they can fire you for it at will. That is a law. So so that's so they can do that anytime they want to. But if you don't know that, okay, then you fall victim. And if I did not have my good seasoned partners and friends with me, and I'm talking to me, they would have got me too. Because you do realize if I had not had my friends to tell me, I would have been on there trying to call and I would have missed my court date. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely.
I would have missed it. And so what happened, and what happened is I hope people understand why astute paying attention is so very important. Had I not had the astuteness to pay attention that this attorney was not for me, and, and I not had that astuteness to call one of my friends who's an attorney, he's a military attorney, and tell him what was going on, and my other friend, okay, who was the NAA head of the NAACP, okay, and tell him what was going on, I would not have gotten the insight to combat that astuteness.
Because and the difference is that it's the difference in allowing something to happen to you,
Right,
versus you taking control,
right,
and handling things. So it's the difference, like with Yah and what he speaks about in his story, in his situation. He didn't allow the situation
right,
to happen to him. He
right,
happened to the situation, and it
right.
turned out to his benefit. So again, too many times
Astuteness.
do we not focus on learning, figuring out? Because let's just be real. As a people, and y'all know this, we have a fuck it mentality. Let's just be real. Let's be real. I
Oh,
mean,
come on.
I done seen it so many times. I
Yeah, how many times?
I remember years
Go
ago.
ahead, Joe.
I was picking up a young lady. I was Ubering. This was, I can't even remember, 10 years ago maybe. I was Ubering, picked up a young lady. She just got let go in a manner in which she felt was unfair at Hooters, and picked her up, and she literally said those words. And I was like, but if you fight it, now you could potentially help the next person to keep it from happening to them.
And Joe, so I'm glad you brought it up. So there is 3 things you gotta have. It's 3 things you gotta have, okay? And the dominant culture play us this
They
way.
play off the fact that we don't have those 3 things. And I
They
know where
play
you're going to
off
go.
the fact that we do not have these 3. And had I not had these 3 things in my favor, I too would have played victim to the system. That's why I was able to write my book about the color construct. They play us ignorant, less astute. I'm going to go here with you all, man. The system play us less astute. The next thing they do, they play us financially broke. We don't have the financial resources to hire a right attorney to work for us. And the next thing they do, they play us like a NIGGER. The system has programmed us to be. So when you break that, so let me go right back. So I was a student, so I beat them in that area because I was sharp. I was on my game, but I also was financially solvent. I dropped my own $15,000, paid them 5,000 on my green attorney to work for me. So the reason why I said it was beautiful to have a green attorney, he had just came out of school, 18 months to 2 years just out of school. He was hungry, and he was Jewish too. He was hungry, had a young child, he wanted to do right and everything. He worked his ass out because I what? I dropped $15,000, and well, 5,000 literally, another five, another five. And then at the point, I didn't have to pay any money. I mean, because I didn't have to pay any money. Once he realized that, we about that $15,000 was an investment. So what did that mean? I had to what? I had to what?
The
Come on,
resources.
the resources.
Resources.
Okay, the resources.
And
And
you know what else was great about that was his naivety.
yes, I mean you caught. Yes, he actually admitted to that. Okay, later on, because the season, because we actually had to bring in a season. They were over the hospital was overwhelming, and we had to bring in another season. And I had to make him negotiate his contract with them. I said my whatever contract. I mean, I was real tough. Look at here, you can bring in. I told him you can bring in anybody you want to. You gonna split whatever you gonna split with them out of yours. That I mean, don't come back to me because I ain't changing my 60 at all. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I told, I said,
And
I
and
said
and you know, and
so
even
what I mean,
further,
I was
but
astute about. Well, like I said, I don't give a damn who you bring in. You can bring in whoever you want. Just make sure you figure out how y'all gonna get paid out of your money. All right, now they ain't don't come,
but he
don't
was also he was also naive
yes,
about he was also naive about how lawyers typically
yes,
move
yes, he
in
was.
situations like this where they are representing a
Yes.
melanated man or a melanated
Oh,
person.
but he caught on real quick because yeah, he caught on real quick, and because now people who I now turn him on to, he talked different now. I mean, yeah, this anyway, that's another conversation. He's contaminated now. He's good and contaminated, but I'm glad I caught him when he was green. I'm glad I caught him when he's green. He's no longer green anymore. Yeah, he matter of fact, this how I kind of plays with him. I said, what is right for us? And I'm clown, what is right for us? I clown with him. This was his first case now. I said, have you been paid higher than anything you done paid much getting paid from me? He like, no. I said, I said, your first check was the biggest check you have gotten, and you haven't beat that yet, have you? He said, no. I said, all right. So you're gonna always remember me, right? Joe. We don't even talk anymore because the last time, I'm really got in his butt because I realized because something happened is that he let it out the hat, and I called him on it. That he said, I asked him, I said, if the other attorneys had gotten to you first before I've gotten to you, would you have ever taken my case? And he never responded. The fact that he did not respond, y'all do realize that was the answer, right?
Yeah, because I mean, again, he was green. He was naive at the time, so he did not have the, I mean, again,
Astuteness.
you learned through that whole ordeal how the lawyers in the community
Yes.
play together.
Yes, they do.
No matter
Even the black
no matter
attorneys,
whether
right?
they're prosecution versus defense, a lot of them tend to play together against a person like yourself.
The plaintiffs. Okay. I mean, they all about trying to get paid. Even a black attorney that John y'all know, I learned a lot. Okay, that this person could have helped me out a lot more than they did because whatever reasons. And I became a little upset later on when I realized, and then I learned later that this is the truth. One of the brother attorneys told me, he said, "Me, Sean, the reason why you was able to get that young attorney, I mean, the reason why that young attorney, he didn't have nothing to lose. He was green. He said, to take on your case, we would have needed to have a serious cash. They had to be financially solvent to take on my case. and do all the work that they was going to have to do and everything. He didn't have that. Okay. And I'm like, what they were saying is that you were able to take someone who was green, who didn't know the system and everything, and by the time that he had done all the work, the seasoned attorney came on board and saw all the work he had done. They walked right into something. He said they walked into something, but they would have never done what he had done without being paid. You
A
follow
whole
me?
lot more. A whole
A
lot
whole
more.
lot more. There you
Yeah.
go. You caught it. You got it. I needed someone else to say it, not me say it. A whole lot more. You follow me?
Absolutely. So it's about that time, and we again, what is right for us? That's pretty much a staple in conversation,
But go
and
ahead and do your thing. Go do your thing before we
at
close.
at
Go do.
at this point, definitely want to give people time to come up and do a round of speak your piece on what is right for us. You see, we was talking about mass shootings and the difference as to how things get labeled when it comes to us versus other people. And and even with that, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I'm wondering if even that conversation or the thought thereof of me focusing on that thought is me focusing on the noise.
On the
But
noise, right?
again, that's a whole nother conversation because it is Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Michon in I Ain't Your Black. This is the podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphanies, discussing and reviewing everything others are afraid to talk about. It's all about what is right for us. I ain't your new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black America. I ain't your black. And now, it is, once again, it has been yours truly, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Michon. Remember, y'all can check us out on social media, from YouTube to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And right as of right now, even in this moment, the show is being streamed live to YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So you have the opportunity, whether you want to listen to it again here on X or any of those other spaces, we encourage you to subscribe and like and all that good stuff. You want to get with either one of us, you can hashtag Mr. Just Ask Joe or hashtag Uncle Michon, and you will find us anywhere. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and let everybody speak and say something if they want to say something in closing here. Want to give everybody an opportunity and a chance. If there's anybody who wants to come up, just let it be known. I'm going to go ahead and send everybody an invite to speak. And you have that ability. So first and foremost, Brother Miles, you want to say anything before we go?
All right, thank you guys for having me up. It was a great podcast again. I don't have too much more to say. Just again, all we got to do is just keep pushing. You guys have a good night.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Brother Carl?
Great space again tonight. Looking forward to tomorrow. What is right for us, and continue with what you're doing, Michon. It is making a impact on this thing called X. And you guys have a good night.
And
Absolutely.
Carl, I don't know if you really understand what you just said there, but literally, my presence, and I'm not boasting about this. I'm just speaking the facts that what I'm seeing. My presence in this space has changed a lot of different people. Um, me not running away and staying on point has stirred up some stuff, and I'm getting it from a lot of other people. I'm getting some feedback and everything, even to the point that I'm not going to say the name, but a three for that used to be when I first arrived here. They were tied together, they tied together. They have broken away because I even told this person, you got to be careful who you who you got rolling next to you. You got to be careful who you keeping close to you. Everyone you keeping close to you, you need to pay attention to who they are. And there's a lot of things in change. So, Carr, you spot on, brother. You spot on. Anybody else? Miss Swamy, you still there?
I think she may be gone as well.
Let's see. Let's see. Who is Sammy D? I think I know who that is too. I think I do. I think I do. But anyway, we are about to. If you want to be able to get my book, the thing is off of my book. I'm not your. I am not your Black America. You can visit my website. Time to unlearn to relearn. Time to unlearn to relearn.com. Time to unlearn to relearn.com. And you can also notice that I have a new book that just dropped last week. I Am Messiah. But I will preface and say that you probably should not try to purchase and read that book until you actually read my first book. You probably will not be able to understand why the title of my book, I Am Messiah, and the things that I'm saying there, if you have not read the first book. And so, with that being said, if nobody else, this is a wrap. Our strategy is that we here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We try not to be long, but we try to be strong. And we always try to leave you intentionally something that you can go home with. Y'all have a
7
blessed day.
p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday,
7 p.m. Yes, 7 p.m.
Eastern.
Yeah. Peace to you.
All right now.
Get ready for I Ain't Your Black. This is the podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphany. Discussing and reviewing everything others are afraid to talk about. It's all about what is right for us. I ain't your new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America! I ain't your black. And now, the host of I Ain't Your Black, Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle Bishore. You gotta be like,
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other.
When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough